laboratory was bathed in a cold, artificial light. As Josh stepped into the room, his eyes fell upon a familiar face. Noah, the young man he had encountered in the back rooms before, stood there, a smirk playing on his lips. "Wait, you?" Josh exclaimed, his voice filled with disbelief. "You? Noah?" Noah slowly revealed himself, his eyes gleaming with a sinister light. "Yes, me. Good to see you again, Josh." Josh was utterly confused. "How are you alive? That time you were, He trailed off, the memory of Noah's apparent demise still fresh in his mind. Noah chuckled, a chilling sound that sent shivers down Josh's spine. "Oh yeah, you thought I died, didn't you?" "Well, you were wrong." Josh's confusion deepened. "How are you alive?" Noah's eyes narrowed. "That time, the monster pulled me into the depths of the backrooms, but it didn't kill me. And then, years later, my father gained control of the entire place." Josh's mind raced. "Wait, your father? Who's your father?" Noah's smirk widened. "My father is Axel Delvo. He's the owner of the Backrooms Bandit Society." A wave of dread washed over Josh. Axel Delvo, the name he had heard whispered in hushed tones, the mastermind behind the terrifying labyrinth. "Tell me, where is our friend Sarah?" Josh demanded, his voice filled with urgency. Noah laughed sinisterly. Noah's laughter echoed through the laboratory, a chilling sound that sent shivers down Josh's spine. "Sarah's right here," he said, his eyes glinting with malice. Josh's heart pounded in his chest. "Don't play with me, Noah. I've already had enough of this nonsense. Just tell me where our friend Sarah is, and we need to leave this back rooms." Noah's smirk widened. "Oh, the game has just begun, and I'm going to make it extreme." Josh's anger flared. "I won't let you." Noah pulled out a gun, the cold metal glinting in the dim light. "Oh, time to end you forever," he said, his voice dripping with menace. "Seriously?" Josh asked, his voice filled with disbelief. Noah nodded, a cruel smile playing on his lips. "I'm serious." With a flick of his wrist, Noah fired the gun. The bullet whizzed past Josh, narrowly missing his head. Josh ducked behind a nearby desk, his heart pounding in his chest. "Oh, come on!" he muttered, shaking his head. "That was a terrible shot." As Josh ducked behind the desk, he heard Noah's voice, filled with a mix of amusement and menace. "Come on, boy, you can't hide from me." Noah began to slowly approach the desk, his footsteps echoing in the silent laboratory. Josh, his heart pounding, knew he had to act fast. He waited for the right moment, then burst out from behind the desk and ran for his life. Noah fired another shot, but this time, the bullet missed Josh by a hair's breadth. Instead, it struck a nearby button, activating a hidden security system. Suddenly, from the four corners of the room, machine guns descended from the ceiling, their barrels aimed at the intruders. Josh dove under a table, his body trembling with fear. "What the hell?" he muttered to himself. As Noah turned to face the onslaught of gunfire, a bullet struck him in the shoulder. He stumbled backward, clutching his wound. "Damn it," he hissed, his voice filled with pain. Josh cautiously emerged from his hiding place, his eyes fixed on Noah. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. Noah gritted his teeth. "Go away from me," he growled, his voice weak. "This wasn't the plan." Josh was confused. "What do you mean? This is your father's plan, isn't it?" Noah didn't respond. He lay on the ground, bleeding heavily. His eyes were filled with a mixture of anger and defeat. Noah, his voice filled with pain, managed to speak. "That time when you all escaped from the slide, my father managed to manipulate the rift, diverting Sarah's path and sending her back to the back rooms. Everything was fine. Since you were gone, we were relieved that you wouldn't come back again." Josh was stunned. "So, it was your father who made the plan?" Noah nodded, his eyes filled with a mix of regret and defiance. "Indeed, but you ruined our plan." Josh's anger flared. "Really? But Sarah is my friend. How could we leave someone we care for most?" Noah was silent for a moment, his mind racing. "What? Caring? You mean caring for friends?" Josh nodded, his voice firm. "Indeed, that's what friends are for." Noah was silent, lost in thought. He had never considered the concept of friendship in the same way Josh did. "Seriously," Josh said, breaking the silence. A flicker of admiration in his eyes. "It's the promise. It's a promise I can't break as a friend." A sense of camaraderie washed over Josh. They had faced countless dangers together. their friendship forged in the crucible of adversity. Suddenly, Noah pressed a button on a remote control. A hidden passageway revealed itself in the wall. The door to the next room burst open, revealing a group of S.o.b soldiers, their guns drawn. "Oh, not again," Josh muttered, his heart pounding. Before the soldiers could react, a powerful figure burst through the other door, clearing the room in seconds. The soldiers were sent flying, their weapons clattering to the ground. "Folks, this is Giga Chad," the figure announced, his voice booming. Josh was stunned. "Giga Chad? What the?" Giga Chad, a towering figure of immense strength, grinned. "Yeah, that's me. Whenever you need me, just say my name." With a wave of his hand, Giga Chad vanished, leaving the stunned soldiers in his wake. From the passage, Selvik and Lisa emerged. Josh turned to Selvik and Lisa, his relief evident. "What was that?" he asked, his voice still shaking. Selvik chuckled. "Oh, just a little surprise I had up my sleeve." Lisa smiled. "You're amazing, Selvik." Josh nodded, his gratitude overwhelming. "Okay, we need to find Sarah. She's right there, in the next room." Selvik and Lisa exchanged a determined glance. "Leave it to us," Selvik said. In corridors of the Backrooms, they finally reached their destination. The door to the room where Sarah was held captive stood before them. With a mixture of hope and trepidation, Josh pushed the door open. The sight that greeted them was heartbreaking. Sarah, her face pale and drawn, was tied to a chair, her eyes closed. Josh rushed to her side, his heart pounding in his chest. "Sarah!" he cried, his voice filled with relief. Sarah's eyes fluttered open, and a glimmer of recognition appeared in her gaze. "You came," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Josh knelt beside her, his eyes filled with tears. "We're here, Sarah. We're going to get you out of here." Selvik and Lisa joined them, their hearts filled with joy. "That's what friends are for," Selvik said, his voice filled with emotion. Just as they were about to leave the room, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Axel, Noah's father, his face contorted with rage. "No running," he growled, his voice echoing through the room. "Time to end this journey forever." Sarah's eyes widened in fear. "This is the man who manipulated me," she said, her voice trembling. Josh stood protectively in front of Sarah, his fists clenched. "Stay away from us," he demanded. Selvik, his face a mask of determination, stepped forward. "Axel? I think I know you." "You used to work with my dad, didn't you?" Axel's eyes narrowed. "Oh, Selvik, good to see you back." "Yes, I used to work with your father." Selvik's confusion deepened. "I don't remember you." Axel smiled, a chilling expression that sent shivers down their spines. "That's because I was using a different name back then." The truth was finally revealed. Axel Delvo, the mastermind behind the Shadow Bureau operation, was someone Selvik knew, someone he had trusted. His mind reeling demanded, "How did you know my dad from the beginning?" Axel's eyes held a knowing glint. "Your dad used to work here with me." Selvik was stunned. How would he know about the Backrooms?" Axel chuckled. "Your dad died a long time ago, didn't he? When you were just 21. Selvik's eyes widened. "What? My dad? He's alive?" Axel nodded. "Your dad was transported to the Backrooms that exact moment. He was part of a biofusion experiment that went horribly wrong." Selvik's mind was racing. His father, alive? In the Backrooms? "Your dad even made this map," Axel continued, pulling a small worn piece of parchment from his pocket. "It tells the location of a secret place called the Pool Rooms." Selvik's curiosity was piqued. "Pool Rooms? What's that?" Axel's eyes narrowed. "No one knows for sure, but legend says it's a secret place that can reveal everything about the Backrooms, and your exit too." Selvik's heart pounded with excitement. His father had left a clue, a way out of this nightmare. "I won't give you the map," Axel said, his voice filled with malice. "I want to know the secret for myself." Axel raised his gun, his finger hovering over the trigger. "Get ready to die." Selvig's eyes narrowed. "Wait, what?" Josh shouted. "Selvig, use the device to summon Giga Chad." Selvig nodded, his fingers fumbling with the device. "It's on cooldown," he muttered. As Axel prepared to fire, a sense of dread washed over Josh and Lisa. They were trapped, surrounded by danger, with no way out. As Axel raised his gun, ready to fire, the sound of gunfire echoed through the room. A series of shots rang out, and Axel collapsed to the ground, lifeless. The room fell silent. Josh, Selvig, and Lisa exchanged stunned glances. A figure emerged from the shadows, their presence shrouded in mystery. "Hope you're all safe," the figure said, their voice calm and authoritative. Josh and his friends squinted, trying to make out the figure in the dim light. As the figure stepped closer, their identity became clear. It was Officer Frank. "We're here to capture any anomalies," Frank declared, his voice firm. Behind him, a squad of soldiers entered the room, their weapons drawn. Selvig picked up Axel's letter, a bittersweet smile playing on his lips. "The greatest villain is dead," he said. Frank nodded. "Come on, let's send you all home." Lisa cheered, her joy evident. "Finally, we're going home." Frank activated a device, revealing a portal pad. "All aboard, folks," he said. Selvig, Josh, Lisa, and Sarah boarded the pad, their hearts filled with relief. With a swirl of energy, they were transported back to their world. "We did a good job, team," Frank said to his soldiers. As the team prepared to leave, the Backrooms began to show signs of instability. The reality around them started glitching, and the portal pad began to flicker. The fate of the Backrooms was uncertain. The battle against the Shadow Bureau operation had been won, but the rift itself remained a dangerous and unpredictable force. What would happen next? The Backrooms, once a labyrinth of endless corridors and eerie silence, began to unravel. Reality itself seemed to be breaking down. The walls warped and twisted. The floors shifted beneath their feet. The once familiar sights and sounds were replaced by a cacophony of disjointed images and jarring noises. Time seemed to lose all meaning. The past, present, and future blurred into a chaotic, incomprehensible mess. The very fabric of existence was fraying at the seams.